Physics teacher living at school. This happened 2 years ago at my high school, which shall not be named, when I was a freshman. Yesterday in my chemistry class, the teacher was talking about it and it gave me chills. I go to a medium-sized school, about 400 students per class. However, we only have about 100 students enrolled in AP Physics every year, so we only have one teacher for the subject. The longtime physics teacher retired, so the school board hired who we will call Mr. Fizz. Anyways, for the first day of school, everyone could tell he was, well, different. He would blow up over the smallest things, such as someone writing a formula wrong, just going absolutely ballistic. The first week of school, he made over 5 students cry because of his outburst. My chemistry teacher is science department leader, so she was very disturbed by these actions. One day, she was going to talk to him about this, and if he needs to make some changes or something like that. He was not in his room, but she found a pillow and a sleeping bag, and some of his clothes hang in the teacher locker every room has. This seems a little suspicious, but she did not overthink it, and forgot about it. Fast forward to December. My teacher's son was in the marching band for school, and she had to pick him up at around 11 p.m. due to a game very far away. She noticed his car was still there. This made her grow even more suspicious because, really? What teacher would be there at 11 p.m. on a Saturday night? As the following week went on, Mr. Sykes' outbursts got worse, and the students began to fear him even more. The following Saturday, my teacher's kid was sick from a stomach bug, so she went to the good old Walmart for some ginger ale, and on the way home, she decided to drive by the school to see if Mr. Fizz's car was still there. Sure enough, it was. The following week, the physics students were notified that Mr. Fizz would be leaving that week, and they could either drop the class without a penalty on their transcript or take it online. The first day of winter break, the janitor who was cleaning the school texted my teacher and said Mr. Fizz was standing in his empty classroom, staring at the wall. She said if he was still there when he left to call the principals and possibly the police. He was there, 5 hours later, staring at the wall. My principal and the police had to end up coming and escorting him out. A week later, my teacher was checking the supplies in the room, making sure everything was okay for write-up. As she was going through his drawers, she found various items, such as razors, rat poison, and acids. Who knows what he was planning to do with them? So, Mr. Fizz, let's never meet again. Teacher videotapes my elementary school gym class, then flips out when classmates find the camera. Have lurked this subreddit for a long time now. Finally made an account to post my story. Please forgive any formatting errors. I don't want to give a lot away, but I will say that this takes place in a small town in Ontario where I grew up during 7th grade. So me and everyone in my class would have been about 12. Anyways, for the first part of 7th grade, we had a substitute teacher, Mr. I, who was only there until the actual teacher, Mr. C, came back from sick leave. Mr. I was great, and he left after the winter break. That was when Mr. C showed up. He was kind of a creep from the start. He used to make a lot of little creepy remarks we would let slide, but eventually it escalated. One encounter I recall is that one day during recess, he tried to get me and a friend, Rachel, to say different words for penis, and would ask us if we were comfortable with saying things like that. Now, as young girls, we decided to tell our parents, and they were pissed off and called the school, which they obviously did nothing about it, because otherwise, the rest of this would not have taken place. Fast forward a couple months later, me and Rachel are in the gymnasium with the rest of our class, about 20 kids. We are doing the gymnastics portion of our gym program. We are halfway through class and Rachel gets up and goes to the part of the gym where we would leave our shoes. So I turn around to look for her after a bit, and to my surprise, she's standing there across the gym in shock holding a video camera. Now at this point, no one else has really noticed, and I really haven't put two and two together yet. But what happened next made me clue in pretty damn fast. Mr. C, who was at the time lounging around the gym not really doing anything, sees Rachel with this camera. I swear to God, his face went from not having a care in the world to utter horror in all of a second. He grabbed a soccer ball from a nearby rack and chucked it across the room at Rachel in front of over fucking 20 12-year-old kids. It hit her dead in the side of the face. She dropped the camera, screamed, and ran out of the room and into the office. Me and everyone else in the class also ran out of the room in pursuit of her before Mr. C could do who knows what the fuck. He grabbed his camera and ran out of the school. I never saw him again. Rachel, who happened to live on the same street as me, has friendly parents who talk to mine occasionally. We later learned that they pressed charges and all that shit, and he was convicted of assault on a minor, and also intent to harm minors or something along those lines. He had been taping our class since he had begun teaching us. He had dozens of tapes of our gym classes. He would position the camera in different places to capture the most revealing angles for whatever it was we would be doing that day. Needless to say, we got a new teacher for the rest of the year, which was kind of awesome at least because she would let us do whatever we pretty much wanted. In hindsight, everything about him seems so menacing now, from accidentally walking into our change rooms to extensive lessons about sex. This teacher thought we were dating. All throughout high school, there was a teacher who I referred to as Creepy Creep. He deserved this name, and throughout the story I hope you can understand why. It all started in my freshman year. This teacher was an inclusion teacher, meaning he was in charge of taking care of the special needs kids that were allowed to be in the same classes as everyone else. Creepy Creep always seemed alone, and I always felt bad for him. So one day I complimented him on his haircut. I always regretted doing this because ever since, he was always in the same place as me. Later in my freshman year, I had broken my toe at a haunted house. After I came to school for the first time after I broke it, he stopped me in the hall to tell me I should avoid haunted houses. I laughed it off, but later it hit me that it was really odd that he knew how I broke my toe because I actually hadn't told anyone at school. The next school year, he would always sit with me at lunch until my friend showed up. The same year, he was running up the stairs and accidentally tripped, which I just happened to see. He seemed fine until he noticed I was one of the students who saw. He started crying, and later that day, he sat with me at lunch, apologizing that he never wanted to embarrass himself like that in front of me. My junior year, he gave me this huge hug on the first day, telling me how much he missed me over the summer. This year, he would always sit with me at lunch even after my friends would show up. He said my friends weren't true friends if they had a problem with us sitting together. One day at lunch, I was talking about how I was leaving early for a dentist appointment. He asked what time I was leaving, and I said right after lunch. Then a few minutes later, he left, which I was honestly so grateful for. Once I got to my car to leave, it wouldn't start. Creepy Creep just happened to be out there and offered to give me a ride home. I told him it was fine because my stepdad was on his way to get me, and anyways, he had to get back to school. Creepy Creep told me it wouldn't take any time for him to take me home since my house was just down the road. That's when I got really freaked out because he knew where I lived. Luckily, my stepdad showed up just in time. Creepy Creep actually introduced himself to my stepdad, saying it was nice to finally meet the man who raised such a beautiful girl. My senior year, I ended up going to a different school, and I got a job as a delivery driver. About a week into the job, there was a special note on the bottom of the delivery saying, "Bring to back door, and you can just walk in," which wasn't too odd to me because that's a common note on delivery for elderly people who can't make it to the door. So I made it to the delivery and went inside, but it was no other than Creepy Creep. When I just walked in, he went in for a kiss, telling me how much he missed me. I was so terrified because not only was this my creepy stalking teacher, but he had also just kissed me. He told me how upset he was not to hear from me for our 2-year anniversary, but he said he understood because it's hard to keep in touch after being at different schools. He asked me to quit my job and stay with him for the rest of the day so we can celebrate our anniversary the proper way. Luckily, my boss called, yelling at me for taking so long on my delivery, so I told Creepy Creep that I had to go quit my job in person so I wouldn't get in trouble for keeping the money from his delivery. Then I would come right back. He was so happy and said he was so excited to see me putting more effort into our relationship. So I quit my job and then went straight home and told my parents everything. I also haven't heard from Creepy Creep since. So sorry for lying, Creepy Creep, but let's not meet ever again.